I was raised up in Israel, and I grew up in a family with a mother and a father and one sister and one brother. And my father was violent toward my mother and also towards us children until I was 16. This was the age when I was strong enough to tell him that I will go even by walk to the police station and he cannot do it anymore. So you can understand my beginning was very painful. And from very early age, I was like very curious about why is there violence between people. And on the other hand, there are relationships where there is love and softness. And I was like longing for this softness and this compassion, and I couldn't find it in my home. So it became like my journey. It became my journey first to find it in myself, and then really holding this question of what is love? What is the thing, or more than one thing, that allow people from one hand to be violent, like my father, and on the other hand, become soft, compassion, loving, caring. When I was very young, looking at this reality in my home and still cannot really change it, I was really young, I couldn't do really anything. The only thing I could do is fight him and tell him that he's not behaving well, but the only result of that was to get more hits from him because I was like sassy, you know, and it was difficult for him to accept this energy. The interesting thing I saw is that the fight I'm seeing between my parents is not only in my parents' house. Like I said, I was born and raised in Israel, and like I guess you all know, Israel is in a fighting position since it began to exist. And the war in Israel is out there. It's not something that happened 200 years ago, it's happening right now. And I remember the first time I understood reading the newspaper and understanding that fighting wars are everywhere. And understanding that the energy of war in my parents' house or around the world is really the same energy. So this question of what will bring love between people for me comes from the most intimate place where I want first myself to love my friends, to love my family, to love my partner, but also I want to have more love in the world. And with this very good question of what is love, I grew up slowly, became more and more independent in my thinking, stopping the violence for me when I was 16, leaving my parents' house when I was 18, and after many years of rebellion also becoming a friend of my father again, forgiving him and finding compassion in my heart. First, of course, letting myself to express all the anger. It took me many years, coming again and being angry and coming again and being angry. And after, I don't know, a few dozen times, I stopped that and I understood that if I'm holding an anger energy in front of him, I'm not doing the work. And today we are very good friends, and he knows what I'm doing and he appreciates it very much, and he's very sorry for everything that happened. So my story is just my story, but for me it's an inspiration for a transformation and to understand that relationship and creating love in relationship is maybe the most important thing in life, or maybe one of the most important things in life, as you like. For me, it's the most important thing. Now, from that, coming to sexuality, well, I learned psychology and social work and therapy, and I think something like 7-8 years ago, I started to see that I have like patterns and blockage in my own intimate relationship with men. And of course, those patterns were a reflection of my mother, and being a daughter of my father, it was not a surprise for me as a researcher of psychology, but it was very painful because you can know something, but when you feel it, it can be really, it's tough. And looking in the mirror and understanding that I cannot really give my heart to a man, and even though my sexuality is basically in a good position with myself, but when I come in front of a man, I'm shy, I cannot ask for my needs, I cannot have an orgasm with a partner, and a lot of other emotional blockage that I met. And I really had no intention of becoming a sex therapist and a couple therapist. My intention was, since I was a child, to be an emotional therapist, and this is what I became. But then reality just told me differently. And when I started to have some results to my healing process with my sexuality and with my ability to be intimate with men, everything opened up. It's like my consciousness opened up to a wider consciousness, which I call the ancient wisdom of conscious sexuality. It's not my wisdom. It's not personal. It's a wisdom that I feel is going through in humanity for, I don't know, thousands of years. You can name them by tradition. You can call them Tantra or Taoism or anything else, or Kabbalah. And you can just say that this is just the wisdom of life. I feel I'm part of a lineage of women that are holding wisdom about love and intimacy and sexuality. It comes very natural to me. I didn't learn it really in a place. I learned it through myself, and then reading books of big Tantra teacher and seeing that everything is written already in the book. And then I said, okay, so I'm with a good company. Of course, I am learning all the time, but the essence of the energy does not come from outside. It comes from my inner journey. When we put more focus on this energy, like by conscious breathing or by focusing on our genitals, we have more energy. And more energy is good for us. It's good so that we can we have more energy in life, and it's good for us to be more sensual. It's good in every level you can even think about, spiritual, physical, anything. The tools I'm working with and the ideas I'm bringing are really trying to connect all our parts of being. Of course, these 3 cycles are abstract and very basic. We have much more than these 3 cycles. But it's just to say that when I speak about sexuality, I speak about the sexual energy in the body, feeling it in the body as pleasure, as passion, as sensuality, as eroticism. Feeling it in the mind, meaning like in the mental mind body, feeling it as love, feeling it as thoughts that I have about it, emotions. And there is the spiritual layers, and energetic layers that are very, very wide. And in my understanding, it's like we have the physical body, but we have around it endless circles that connects us to one another and connects us, of course, to the planet and to the universe. If we will learn more about conscious sexuality, what are the presents that we will get in our life? So we will have more passion and more pleasure. And I think it's important to have passion and pleasure. And not only passion and pleasure that is sexual, but also passion to work, passion to write, passion to be creative, just passion to live, okay? And also, of course, passion to be with someone or more than one. It is enhancing joy and playfulness, this for sure. If we put our intention, our focus on our genitals, working with it, moving it, if it's by dancing, if it's by touching, if it's by letting someone else touch me, this is what it does. It will bring more joy and playfulness, and we need these energies in our life. And what is great about sexuality, and I think all of you have this experience, when you are in love, and it can be in love with yourself, it can be in love with a project, and it can be in love with a partner. You have more energy for everything else. I can make love, and then I go out and I just go to the supermarket, and I'm more smiling, and I'm more positive, and I have more patience. So the sexual energy is really, in my eyes, a very sacred energy. If we treat it right and clean it from all the taboos and all the patterns, or at least some of them, we can just enjoy life much more. The third thing is empowering eroticism and sensuality. I think we don't have enough of that in society. We just don't have enough of it. I would like us to walk on the streets or just in the village with more sensuality in the body, you know, allowing ourselves to show these parts of us, just because it's beautiful, not because I'm trying to get anything, just because it's nice. You know, when a flower is flourishing, it does it because this is who he is. He doesn't do it so that you can smell it or look at it. And I think we are all flowers. Because of many reasons, we are low in our erotic energy. There is a lot of fear there. And my goal is to allow more of this energy become spread around. And another thing I will say just about sensuality, again, that it's not only about being sensual in sexual relationship. It's about being open to all our senses. You know, is to look at a tree and to really enjoy the color. Is to look at a person and really enjoy his eyes or her body. And not because I want something of it, but just because we are all so beautiful and the planet is wow. And we can enjoy, again, much more. So being sensual is much more than being sexual. It's part of being sexual. Deepening intimacy and loving communication. Yeah, I think you can understand that intuitively, that when we work with our sexual energy and we open the passion, the pleasure, the playfulness, we are opening also the ability to be intimate and to create love. Because this is exactly what I was discovering a few years ago in my own journey, that in order for me to have pleasure with a man, like wide pleasure, I have to learn first how to be intimate with myself, and understanding that sex is not about a penis and a vagina or whatever is your attraction. Is about using all the body and using all our chakras or all our energetic centers in a meeting with a man. And at least for me, it's more easy to do it in a partnership that is deep and ongoing process. But you can do it also in a one-night stand. It will have some level of loving communication. So anyway, I understood I cannot leave the energy only here. I cannot expect my vagina to be totally open. If I'm just attracted to the man and we drank some wine, it's not enough. I need to learn how to talk. I need to learn how to listen to his needs and share my needs. I need to learn how to share my fears. Because even though I started my own healing journey when I was 14, today I'm 41, 25, 26 years of working, I still have patterns. I still have blockages. I have less than I had before, but when I meet a man and when I am in a profound meeting, I can still meet some unconscious resistance. It's not personal, it's there so that I can heal through this loving communication. And then again, this is the way sexuality and love for me are not separated. It's one for me. Now we go to the biggest question. How do I understand conscious sexuality? This model I created after a few years of working with men and women and couples. For almost, I think, something like 6 years. This is my job. I specialize with all these topics surrounding passion, eroticism, sensuality, communication, emotion communication, and sexual communication, and combining them. And while I started to work with people, I saw that there are in this area, just like in any other area, there are like basic tendencies, basic frame. And if I will succeed to make it verbal, to really make it clear, it will be very helpful. And then I can share it more easily. Most of the human consciousness knows especially the first layer of this pyramid, which is the mental sexuality. What is the mental sexuality? It's a sexuality, it's a pleasure that comes from here, that comes from the mind. And how can you know where is your sexuality stand for now? You can just check inside yourself, how do you masturbate? And let's say, do you masturbate? If I would have add another layer, there is a hidden layer here of disconnecting from our sexuality. So having any kind of sexuality is part of the process, but sometimes, because of all the reasons I already said, it's the religion and all religions and the separation between spirit and matter, and it's the social taboos, and of course the families. Most of us grew in houses that sexuality was not a talkative topic. We didn't talk about it. So because of all of those reasons, some of us are disconnected from sexuality at all. So let's say there is a hidden layer, and the first thing I would like for this kind of person is first to start any kind of connection with sexuality. But again, coming back to that, mental sexuality is about using pornography when we masturbate, or using any kind of images. Any kind of images. It can be the most beautiful images, and still it is image. I want to make a point that there is nothing bad about mental sexuality. Okay? There is nothing bad about any layer. It's not about good or bad. It's about widening our sexual potential and having more variety in our sexual pleasure and our sexual and loving communication. The mental sexuality is, let's say I'm masturbating now with pornography, so I'm touching my genitals on one hand, but on the other hand I'm looking at a picture or a movie, so there is, let's say this is my genital and this is me, this is my hand, okay? This is my hand, this is my genitals. Here, the pornography or the image. So it creates a non-direct connection to my pleasure. And from my direct experience, it lowers the pleasure to like 10% of our pleasure. So when we discover the wild sexuality is the ability to enjoy all of our body and not only touching the genitals, enjoying all of our body, discovering all of our body as an erotic organ, you can say it like that, and finding out that we can have pleasure and even orgasm without any image. And the wild sexuality, it sounds very basic, but from my statistic and talking with many colleagues and clients, statistics said that most of us are in this stage because this is what we know, because this is what culture brings us. You know, you can walk on the street looking at advertisement of something in television, and you have a lady with her tits outside without a reason, you know, just because sex sells. So our mind is, in the basic level, is not very smart, and it catches it, and it becomes an inner stimulation to become sexual. So when we want to be sexual with ourselves, we use this mental sexuality. When we talk about the wild sexuality, it's a sexuality that is focused on the genitals, even though it pleasures all the body, and the mental focus is on my pleasure. I'm using masturbation or being with a partner so that I can have my pleasure. And if you look at the higher level of the sensual sexuality, it's already enjoying the pleasure of me and the pleasure of the other person. Sometimes to see a woman orgasm, or for me to go down on a man, it's pleasurable, okay? It's pleasurable when my heart is open and when I feel I am in a comfort zone and a respectful place. So this is the sensual sexuality, and still, here and here, the focus is on the sexual pleasure. If you go to another level, loving and intimate sexuality, the focus is on the pleasure of the heart. I don't care really about my orgasm. He doesn't care about his. We really care about the connection, the compassion, the communication. This kind of intimacy and sexuality will take more time. We can start pleasuring one another and then stopping and hugging just to talk or just to gaze in our eyes. So it's a higher level of sexuality, and again, remember not to be judgmental to the other layers, because we need all of the layers to have our sexuality open up. The higher level, as I understand it, is the spiritual sexuality. When a couple or more or only me meets, and the focus is not on the pleasure, is not on the emotional energy and love, but is on emerging with silence and meditation. So it's about being in a space with myself or with other people, touching, enjoying the pleasure of the body definitely, but not to have any kind of result, but just like to give the level of meditation, the level of silence, take me to a journey. And you can call it the higher level of Tantra also. But this is another topic. So this is the way I understand conscious sexuality. How can we reach this level of sexuality? So if you see, I flipped the pyramid just like that. It was like that. I flipped it like that. So in my understanding, and this is also what I'm doing in my workshops, in order for a person to be connected to all the layers of sexuality, and usually people, when they come to me, they are asking to be connected mainly to the loving, intimate sexuality and to the sensual sexuality. When I start to teach people how to bring the energy of sacredness and intimacy with meditation to the level of touching, then this opened up the loving and intimate sexuality, the sensual sexuality, etc. So what I really see, like a vision or a picture, if I am with a partner and I can be silent with him, just like naked or half naked, and just be with him, relaxing in my body, slowly, slowly it will open up, even to a point when we can decide that we want to take a fantasy and to go with it and play with it totally. But if it's on the other way around, if this is all we have, only the fantasies, I can tell you, guaranteed, that after few months of trying to manifest fantasies, we are going to be bored and we will have no passion to one another. Because the sexuality using the mind to be connected. And we are human beings. We are not only mind. We are heart and we are body and we are many, many layers. It's not enough for us to take a fantasy and to put it out. And from this side, when you do it like that, then you can really play. And one time you can do it like that, one time you can do it like that. It's really a playground. And this is the way I see sexuality, as a playground. can I ask a question? Does your teacher has or had or have a partner?
No.
Okay. Okay, so, I think this is part of the problem or the challenge that we have nowadays. Because many of the spiritual teachers, especially the big ones that comes from India and like are very, with a big radiant energy, usually, and I know I'm making now a generalization, okay? So many of them doesn't live with partners, they live in an ashram, and I don't think someone like that, at least for me, can teach me something about sexuality. My choice is to live in the Western world and I want matter and spirit to become one. I feel it as one. For me, God is now in the room. Now I see, 20, 30 gods in this room, and the flowers outside are God, and everything is sacred. Okay? Celibacy is outside of the pyramid. I don't know anything about. I did have periods in my life when I chose not to have any contact with with men, because I felt it was in the healing phase, because I felt everything I do is wrong. So I said, okay, I'm taking a vacation. I'm going to learn more about myself, getting to know more my feminine energy, my masculine energy, becoming more understandable about what it is to be myself and to respect myself, and then starting to go outside and creating a new reality. So sometimes celibacy is a good way while healing. But anyway, really about celibacy as a way of religion or spiritual, I don't know anything. It's not my expertise. First, I would say that I love this. I love all of it, but I love this wild sexuality. It's the phase or the level of our being when we are connected. I am connected to my body, to my genitals, to my pleasure. I'm not ashamed about it. I have no guilt about it. And I have no problem to share with my partner what exactly does he have to do so that I will feel the pleasure. I am totally surrendering to my pleasure, and I have no guilt about asking and receiving. It's about being able to connect to my pleasure and allowing myself to receive this kind of focus of another person on my body and on my pleasure. The wild sexuality is really the level where we are connected to the animal we are. Because we are human beings and we are very, very high. We have very high levels of consciousness and we are all the time developing, but we are also animals. And in the level of the animal, I don't think so much, will I see him again? Is he good to my children? Does he make enough money? Did he gaze my eyes enough? I don't care about that. All I care is about my pleasure. And of course, if he's willing and it's all in a consent frame, I'm going for that. So it's a very wild, animalistic energy. Just imagine a woman or a man that is not ashamed to tell to their partner, I like it when you look at me like that. I like it when you touch me like that. Please do. It's like very direct. But again, I know for myself, and again, being a therapist, so I learned a lot about many people. When we have this base of loving and intimate sexuality and communication, and we have the silence, it's more easy to bring that. Because I know, even if I will look ridiculous, he will not be laughing at me. He will hug me. And even if I will not succeed to have an orgasm, he will not be angry about me. He will be compassionate and say, okay, another day, don't worry, everything is good, So this is why I don't teach wild sexuality, because it's not enough. It doesn't stand alone. This is what I'm saying. Wild sexuality doesn't stand alone. It has brothers and sisters. The answer is definitely yes. The only basic condition I need in order to teach that is that both partners want and that they don't feel disgust from one another. No, I'm serious. If there is disgust, then I have to do the healing journey to see if it's possible to transformate the disgust to acceptance. Not all the time it works. But if it's in the level of disgust, it's the most difficult work. If it's on the level that we only have the mental sexuality, we want to have the wild, we want to have the sensual, it's not a problem. If both of them wants to have a process and they want to stay together, it's not really a magic. It's really the ancient wisdom of conscious sexuality. It's just tools that I know from working with my body, then seeing that it works with other people, then reading books and seeing that other teachers say the same. So it's if we would have learned about sexuality the same way we learn mathematics and other things, we will know much more. The reason that we still feel, even in my generation, that when there is a workshop of sexuality, it's wow, what a beautiful thing you are doing. I don't think it's special. I think it's just another topic to learn about. One of the beliefs my mother shared with me, she thought she's protecting me, but she was telling me that all the men are wolves. Now, she said that because she felt that. Now, when I grew up, started to have my own relationship, I didn't know that it affects me, but then discovering it does. So until I understood it, laugh about it, cry about it, and then go inside. And when I do the emotional diving, it's like a very easy tool to go inside the subconscious, to touch emotional and sexual traumas, or to release beliefs and patterns. What is the most important is about allowing myself in this emotional diving to feel the pain. I see consciousness builds as layers: the conscious mind, unconscious mind, memories, fears, angers, emotions, pain, deep pain, silence, love. Now from there, I can really change my beliefs about men. It's like we have a computer and we can program it to another kind of thinking. So when I'm doing this work for many years, today I have different thoughts about men. I really love them. When we talk about the wild sexuality and the mental sexuality, both of them are energies of the masculine. When I say masculine, it doesn't mean that all men have only this kind of sexuality, okay? Both of us, men and women, have them both. Maybe we don't have all the spectrum of it, and we would like to widen it more. But of course, men can like this energy of lovemaking, of the loving and intimate sexuality, of taking time and talking while making love and gazing, and stopping to make a coffee or drink or having some fruit or something, okay? So the feminine energy is like a wave energy. It can make love, she can make or he can make love for hours, okay? Because orgasm is not important. We are not trying to reach anything. We just want to enjoy ourselves. And this is what we do. So it can be even only hugging when naked or something like that. And it can also be very arousing to hug when naked. So it's definitely a sexual energy, but a very dancing energy, okay? And the masculine energy, it's a very direct, goal-oriented, going from the arousal to the orgasm and ejaculation, then the energy falls. Most of us know this part of masculine sexual energy going from A to B. Yeah, we had good sex, 10 minutes, that's it. Okay, it's very short, fast, goal-oriented. It's not bad. You can call it like a quickie. It's nice. For me, the best is combining them together. because I think we need some time. The orgasm is good. But this is much more nourishing. This also, even if you are, I don't know, 70, 80, and maybe your body is not like a 20 years old boy, you know? You cannot hold your erection, maybe you don't have an erection, okay? But when you take this kind of feminine energy, you can always feel pleasure, sensuality. Alcohol and drugs, for me, is like games, okay? It's a game. You can play with it. But you have to know what you are doing. You are messing with your mind. So it can create the energy of the mental sexuality or the wild sexuality. But it will be very difficult to go up to, let's say, sensual sexuality or loving sexuality under the influence of alcohol. Now, about drugs, it depends which kind of drugs. And I don't want to go there because there are many kinds. And there are herbal drugs, like come from nature, and there are drugs that are chemical. Anyway, you can say, without judging also drugs, that drugs are just like the mental sexuality. I have my body, this is me, this is my partner, and this is the alcohol or the drug. So it is something that doesn't allow the direct energy to meet. It's not a bad thing to take once in, sometimes, you know, to enjoy, to play. If we agree about all this life as a playground, so we can play with everything. But if I am dependent, if I am dependent on the alcohol or marijuana or any kind of drug to be open in sexuality, then I have a big problem. Yeah, and definitely my sexuality is mental. Is mental because I need something in order to connect to someone else, so I'm not really myself. Yeah. All of these are part of mental sexuality. If I need to tie you up so that I can feel pleasure, it's totally fine. But it's like it's narrowing the possibility of my heart opening to you, of my emotional communication opening to you. So fetish are there, I know that. But, and not only they are there, most of the people around the world, this is all they know, mental sexuality. So it's okay, but we can have much more. It's like, you know, you can have pizza in your microwave every night, and it's okay. But you can have a gourmet meal, and from my understanding, the gourmet meal that comes with working with this kind of energy, it's much more nourishing to the body, to the mind, to the relationship, to our energetic field, and it creates a radiant from my body that affects everything, that can affect my parenthood, that can affect the way I'm looking at trees, the way I treat my clients. I'm becoming much more loving and happy person. So, like I said, fetish is fine, or everything is fine, but is that all you want from life? You don't have to answer that, yeah? But it's not all I want from life. I want more. I feel I have a big gift to give to men and to people. And it's not about a woman teaching men, it's about a teacher of love and conscious sexuality sharing knowledge and energy with my brothers. That's it. So I don't come like from here, I know more, come and learn from me. No, we are partners. We are partners, we are brothers, we are lovers, we are everything. We meet in the subconscious in all levels. And I can say to you from the experience I have gained in the last 2 years with men, it's a profound healing process. The potential of sexuality is endless. Okay, it's not, this pyramid is just a framework. It's not like the truth. Okay, it's just a framework so that we can open our mind. But maybe you want to add some layers to this pyramid. There is endless potential to sexuality, endless. Just like cooking, just like parenting, just like communicating, just like meditating. It's endless. And I just want to put a seed in your heart and in your body to want to discover more about that. I want to thank you really all for having me and for being here.